First, let's look at ISO 14000 definition and its purpose. What is ISO 14000? ISO 14000 is a set of international environmental management standards introduced by the International Organization for Standardization, ISO. The standards provide the guidelines and requirements to help the organization around the world practicing effective environmental management system, which is EMS, in order to minimize the environmental effect of their operations. It's a framework designed to help large or small organizations aiming to enhance their quality management system, focusing on improving environmental impact and promote sustainability practices. Next, let's look at the importance of ISO 14000 in environmental management. First, reduce environmental effect. ISO 14000 offers a systematic framework for identifying, managing, monitoring, and controlling environmental issues through its core standard, which is ISO 14001. Second, ensure compliance with environmental laws and regulations. ISO 14000 help organizations stay up to date with environmental regulation and reducing the risk of legal penalties, as environmental law is a major concern for businesses. Third, encourage sustainable practices and resources efficiency. Through ISO 14000, organizations can take effective action to reduce emissions, minimal waste, and use resources more efficiently. And lastly, improve environmental performance through ongoing improvements. ISO 14000 encourage continuous improvement by following the cyclical processes involving regular assessing and enhancing an organization's environmental practice through a cycle, which often referred as PCDA, which is plan, do, check, and act.
In this segment, we will examine several key standards within the ISO 14000 family, each designed to support organizations in improving their environmental management practices. Firstly is ISO 14001. It is a concern of the ISO 14000 series. It specifies the requirement for environmental management system, enabling organizations to enhance their environmental performance, comply with the legal obligation, and achieve sustainability goals. It is the only standard in the series that is certifiable. Second is ISO 14004. It provides supplementary guidance on the principle, system, and technique necessary to develop and promote an EMS. While not intended for certification, it serves as valuable reference for aligning environmental strategy with ISO 40001. Thirdly is ISO 40020. Outlines general principles for environmental labeling. It ensures that environmental claims made by manufacturers such as eco-friendly or recyclable are accurate and verifiable, thereby fostering consumer trust. Next is 40031. Offer a structured approach for organizations to assess, manage, and communicate their environmental performance using indicators. It facilitates the evidence-based decision-making and continuous improvement.
Next is the ISO 14040. Established the framework for conducting life cycle assessment. It enables organizations to evaluate the environmental impacts of their products or services across the entire life cycle, supporting more sustainable design and procurement decisions. Lastly, ISO 14064 provide guidelines for quantifying, monitoring, and reporting greenhouse gas emissions. It plays a critical role in carbon management strategies and support participation in voluntary or regulatory climate programs.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Izzaty binti Manan, and I will continue the presentation by explaining the impact of the ISO standards family on organization. As you can see on this slide, the implementation of ISO standards can enhance environmental performance through structured management. Secondly, ensure compliance with environmental laws and regulation, and lastly, boost stakeholder trust, which strengthen the organization brand reputation. Next, I will continue the presentation by sharing the case study that relates to ISO 40004. For this presentation, I chose ISO 40004 because it provides useful guidelines and best practice to support the implementation of ISO 40001, which focus on environmental management system. So the case study that we selected is about the Fujitsu Group. It explains how Fujitsu demonstrate ISO 40004 guidelines through their ISO 40001 implementation. This article was written by Mitsugu Sato and Seiji Kawaguchi, and it was published in the Fujitsu Scientific and Technical Journal on 9 March 2005. Fujitsu followed this guideline to improve their environmental performance and promote sustainability within their operation. Now, my groupmate will continue the presentation. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Najwa binti Husaini, and I will continue the presentation by explaining about the Fujitsu Group company background. The company was founded in 1935 in Japan and has grown to become one of the world's largest providers of information and communication technology, or ICT. With operations in over 100 countries, this company built a strong global presence over the decade. They began implementing the ISO 40001 standard as early as 1995, just a few years after it was officially published. A major milestone came in 2003 when Fujitsu unified its environmental management system across all divisions into a single integrated approach. They used a matrix EMS model where environmental goals were embedded directly into business processes using the plan, do, check, act cycle, a core concept of ISO 40001. Now, this is where ISO 40004 played a vital supporting role. It provided guidance on how to improve and align the EMS over time, ensuring continuous improvement. Fujitsu also used ISO 40004 principles to expand its environmental coupled efforts to overseas branches adapting its system to meet local environmental conditions. This shows how ISO 40001 and ISO 40004 work hand in hand. One sets the requirements and the other helps enhance and align them across the organization. So for this slide, I will be explaining about the environmental improvements achieved through the implementation of ISO 40001. First, in terms of reducing the environmental burden, Fujitsu has significantly lowered its energy consumption, reduced waste generation, and minimized chemical emissions across its operations. One major initiative has been the development and introduction of green products that are more eco-friendly throughout their life cycle. Next, Fujitsu has improved efficiency through IT tools. For example, e-learning is used to train all employees, cutting down on travel and printed materials. They have achieved a 98% reduction in paper use by digitizing documents, audit records, and data storage, making environmental management more efficient and accessible. Lastly, under the establishment of green products, Fujitsu ensures that all products meet strict green product standards. If any product fails to meet those criteria, it is flagged as having significant environmental impacts, driving continuous improvement and innovation in design and production. Through the structure of ISO 40001 and with guidance from ISO 14004, Fujitsu has embedded sustainability into its core operations, proving that responsible environmental management can also support business success.
Okay, next, they implemented a unified environmental management system and top management across all divisions. This improved consistency, allowed top management to get involved, and made sure everyone followed the same environmental goals. And senior leaders will directly monitor environmental activities, including audit results and policy approval. Next, they're strengthening their internal environment audit independency by making the audit department manage all of the internal environmental audit fields, making the process more objective and unbiased. Lastly, they increase employee awareness by providing environmental training to all staff, and everyone can take part in any daily green activities.
To conclude, ISO 14000 standards play an important role in promoting sustainable and responsible environmental management. They help organizations improve their performance, comply with environmental laws, and build public trust. By adopting these standards, companies take a meaningful step toward a greener and more sustainable future. Thank you for listening.